Okay, I'm hoping that this is bright enough that you can see. Because there needs to be, oh, there, that's good. I wonder, yeah, I can't put the lid down, but I think you'll be able to see here. I don't know what this stitch is called, but it looks like kind of like it ends up looking like a rope. So I've set the stitch width at 6 and the stitch length at 7. And I don't know what it's called, but it's pretty cool. So let's see what it looks like on here. Oh, it goes backwards. Speed up a little bit. I'll speed the video up. I just got to make sure I keep that center mark on this foot. I'm using the foot that it says to use with it. I just have to make sure that center mark stays on my seam. Okay, so here we go. Okay, we're at the end, so let's take a look and see what it looks like. I've never used any of these stitches, so I have no clue. Just kind of experimenting. Oh wow, that's really pretty. It's definitely, it looks nice on there. Isn't that pretty? Okay, let's try a different one. That was number 29 on the Viking Sapphire. So let's see if we can find another neat looking one. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't really stitch that stitched. So number 2, oh good, it takes a size B. So I decided that I would use this light blue thread on all the pieces that look like just on one side of these pieces. That's why I did this one here. So I'm still going to use the light blue thread, and since this has a lot of stitches in it, man, I'm gonna need to check my bobbin thread. I still have quite a bit of bobbin, so I'm good. It looks like, yeah. So same here, I just need to keep my foot notch. I'm gonna go ahead and put my needle down. Oop. A little off. Let me scoot it over. Okay. All right, so this one kind of looks like a cross hatch. So, okay, I'm gonna go real slow because I've never done this stitch before and I don't want to go too fast. So, but all right, let's see what this one looks like. Oh, I guess I need to check the size of the stitch. Yeah, let's bring it down to a 5, and the X's will bring to a 2.5. Okay. All right, I think I'm gonna stop there. I don't know if I need a back tack on these, but I'm going to, so just to make sure that it doesn't come out. And we're ready for the big reveal. Go ahead. Sorry, I keep shaking the camera because I have it like right here in front of me. Okay, that's kind of cool looking. You can see that stitch looks like. It's just a couple of X's next to each other, which is kind of cool. Actually, I like that. Okay, so it looks like I have one more Oh, I gotta cut my bobbin thread. It looks like I have one more, nope, two more. I have this piece and this piece to go. And then I can switch colors, thread, and pick another one. Maybe I'll do the blue ones first. Maybe I should go around the whole outside. I don't know, I'll think about it. All right, let's choose another stitch. This one looks like more like a traditional Crazy Quilt Stitch, and I'm excited to try this one. I'm just lowering the stitch length, 7, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that one. I think this one should go on a. I think this one should go on a big one. So let's do it on this edge, because it's a pretty big piece. But I got a feeling I'm gonna like this one on Crazy Quilt. So still using the B, and we center it again. So I guess we center it on all the stitches. And so here we go. You know, now I'm thinking about it, maybe I should make this wider. I can make it a 7. Okay, even 7 lengths, 7, so that kind of makes it square. That's a good idea. Oh, my thread came out. No way. Okay, I just about have it rethreaded. The thing is that you're really not supposed to, if I can get my fingers in there, you're really not supposed to pull your thread out backwards. Like when you're changing your thread, you always want to pull your thread through towards the needle, because you don't want to pull dust back into your machine. But in this case, I couldn't find the end of it, so I had to pull it out the opposite direction. But we're just about ready to get started here, so I just need to thread my needle, which I love the automatic threader on here. I actually got one on my Juki, but I don't know how to use it. But man, if you can get an automatic threader on your machine, oh, it's heaven. Okay, so I'm using the right foot. Let me go ahead and lift my foot so I can get my thread to the back. I actually lowered that with my foot. Okay, I think I'm ready. I've got it all rethreaded. So I think we're good to go. Here we go. Okay, now I'm just gonna back stitch. Which takes the design backwards, which is really interesting. And now I'm gonna go forward so it knows. It keeps up with whether you're going backwards or forwards. It knows where to pick that stitch up. That's really cool. Okay, so now I just need to cut my thread, and I probably should have done this in like a red, something, you know, more brighter. That's not correct English. Should have used brighter thread on that one. But let's see what that stitch looks like. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, see, that looks like a traditional Crazy Quilt stitch. And I was thinking while the machine was going, I could take beads and put them at each one of those points. That would be so pretty. I could use a thicker thread on this, actually. I have I have threads that are 12 weight. I definitely could use a 12 weight. That would be a good stitch to use a 12 weight on. I don't think I would use a 12 weight on this one, simply because the stitches are close together, and they're really tight. I wouldn't use a thicker thread on this one either. But this one, definitely. That's number, on the sapphire, that's stitch number 7. Okay, here's another one. Stitch number 12 uses B. This is another Crazy Quilt stitch. And maybe if I have time in this video, I will change the thread. I will go get a 12 weight and put in here, and we will stitch this one for sure on another one in a bright color. But let's go ahead for now. Let's go ahead and do stitch 12, and we will do. See, and I'm kind of wondering how this is going to work when I need to stitch on the seam right next to a different stitch, because I don't want to use the same stitches all the way around each piece. So I probably should back it up a little bit. I'll try to get it to start. I think I'm going to start right there. So you just kind of go by the style of the stitch and kind of guess where. I think it'll be okay if I start right here. It won't make the stitches. Oh, I need to change the size of the stitch because that's big. Let's bring it down to 7 long. The stitch length to 7 and the width to 4.5. This is kind of like a little flower stitch. This would probably be good on like a pill case or something. I think if your machine has a lot of different stitches available, Crazy Quilting is like the best way to try them out, to see what they look like. That's the end of that one. So I'm gonna back stitch. And we'll see what this one looks like. Oh, I turned my light off, sorry. I think we're gonna like this. I think I'm gonna like this one. We're gonna like this one. Well, maybe you like it too. Sorry, I am shaking the camera because I'm trying to get my hand in there to cut my thread. And this is what that stitch looks. Oh, that's so pretty. This would be so pretty on like baby clothes. Oh, so pretty. This would be pretty like at the bottom where you're gonna put lace, or like right at the top of lace. So pretty. Okay, I'm gonna go get some thicker thread, 12 weight thread, and hopefully I have a needle that I can use with it, but I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I tell you, I thought that my threads were upstairs because I keep these in with my embroidery thread because they work really well. But they were in my sewing room. I'm so organized, I'm disorganized. But these are by Superior Thread, and they're called So Sassy. And this one doesn't have a bottom label on it. Here's an orange one. Sorry, they're kind of junky because I had them in the... Okay, let's see. Here we go. This color is burnt orange, and you can see right here it says 12 weight. So I don't know, I'm sure they made these for sewing on the machine. I just happen to use them for I use them for cross stitch. But these I just have all kinds of different colors. Like here's a pretty red. This color is called True Rose, number 3313. And it kind of looks red on here on the camera, but it's just a pretty rose color. So I don't know if I can use, I know you're supposed to use like a 40 weight in your bobbin. I know that for a fact, but I think you have to use, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to thread this I'm gonna I don't know what it is with blue, but I'm gonna put this blue color in there. Do I want to use blue? Oh gosh, I always have a hard time choosing colors. I also got these. These came through the mail. These are like a glossy thread I bought. I forget. I bought something from somewhere, and they sent me, oh, Spoonflower. I bought some fabric from Spoonflower, and they had included one of these in my order, free. I guess they wanted us to try the new color, but I don't know what weight this is. I'm sure this number right here is telling me what weight it is. But I got that color, and I have this color. But I think this is machine embroidery thread too, so I could try that as well. But I just I want to try this thicker thread because it's almost the same weight as embroidery thread, and I'm trying to figure a color. I don't know that I want to put yellow. I don't want to put yellow in here. So if I was to try, I could try this orange. Do I want orange? I just don't know. I think I want to try this green. Well, actually, this is my green that I like better. This color is called Felt Green, 3361. The main thing is that you can use a larger thread in your machine, and so that's why I want to try this, because I just think that it would look close to like embroidery, like you did it by hand. But the stitches would be neat because the machine's doing it. So let's just give it a whirl. It's fun, right? It's fun. And we'll see. I just need to get this threaded, and I'm hoping that the needle I have in here is the eye of the needle is big enough to take this thread. If not, then I may not be able. I have other needles, but I would have to take a few minutes to see if I have one. So let's see if it'll fit through there. I mean, actually, I need to trim the old thread off. So if you didn't know, what you can do is right up by the spool, you just clip the old thread and then put the new thread on the machine, and then tie a knot to the old thread and the new thread, and then you can just come down here and pull the new color through. You don't have to re-thread your machine every time. I learned that when I was sewing at the sewing factory. I was a serger operator, and if you don't know, a serging machine, you have 4 different threads that you have to thread in your machine. And so when I first started working, they put me on the serger, and when I'd have to change color thread, I was threading each one manually, and my floor supervisor came by, and she saw me threading it, and she goes, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm changing the color thread." And she goes, "Are you manually threading all of those threads?" And I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "Somebody come over here and show her how to thread this machine." I was embarrassed, but anyway, that's where I learned how to do that. Gotta love it. All right, so let's try this flower one again. I think that would that would show up really good. And then we'll do that other, what am I thinking right now? We'll do that other crazy quilt looking stitch next. So I'm gonna go really slow because I don't know how my machine's gonna work with this thread. I think I have a 40 weight in the bottom, but I'm not sure. Okay, so here we go. I recharged my phone and I have quite a bit of charge on it, and we're back. So what I ended up doing is I ended up taking the 40 weight thread out because my machine clogged up, even though I did make sure that I had stronger thread in the bobbin. I'm not so sure that that's what I'm supposed to do, so I really need to pull a manual out on that. I'm almost sure I can use a 12 weight thread in this machine. But what I did do is I switched from a 12 weight top thread to my 40 weight thread, and this color I went ahead and I just took everything out that I had done with the 12 weight, which was, I think, this green one. Did I put it back in the bag? What did I do with that thread? Put it back in here. Well, where did it go? Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is the one that I was using before I had to stop the video, the felt green 3361. I love this color, it's like one of my favorite colors. But what I did is I took this out of the machine and I took out what I had stitched with the 12 weight. And I went ahead and I put this 40 weight in, which is 40 weight thread is pretty much what quilters like to use when they're quilting their quilts. You can see the 40 right here that denotes the weight right here, number 40. This color, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's number 2097. It's by Superior Threads, Magnifico. I put this in the machine and I went ahead, because these two colors are really close. And I use these colors a lot because I like it, but I replaced this in my top stitch machine and just left the 40 weight thread in my bobbin. And I went ahead and I took out the old thread from the 12 weight and I redid that design in the 40 weight, and I think it's really pretty. That's how it turned out. So I've stitched a few more colors and a few more designs while my phone was charging, and I'm absolutely in love with these different stitches. I think the next one I did was this red one. I know there's a name for this, but I forget what number this one is. I think it's between 1 and 22 on the D panel for the Viking Sapphire. And then after I did that one, I came over and I did, oh yeah, the red. I did this flower one. Sorry, I'm shaking the camera again. I did this flower one, which is really pretty. I think so. And then I switched my thread color to, I have a teal color, and this one is Magnifico 2138, size 40 weight. And then I did another flower stitch, this one, which is really cute. It's kind of hard to see. I'm learning that you really need to use contrasting colors if you want it to really show up. And then I did that flower one, and all of this I did while I was waiting for my phone to recharge. I also did this one, which is really neat design, but I did it on the same background, so it's kind of hard to see. I did that one, and then I think that's all I did while my phone was charging. And so I did one more. I switched to a black, my black Magnifico 40 weight, and it's still in my machine. And I did this design here, which is kind of hard to see because this fabric has black lines in it, and I did it right next to it. So it was kind of funny when I was done stitching. I was trying to pull this thread up here, but it's actually in the fabric design. But that's a pretty cool stitch. I love that. It just kind of adds an elegance to it. And so I thought, okay, let's do one more for the video, another stitch for the video. And I found number 13, which uses the B foot. I think this is B. So you can see the B right here on the foot. It tells me to use that foot with this stitch. So I'm just gonna pop that back on there like that, and then we're gonna stitch that one. And at this time I want to do it somewhere where the stitch will show up. So I need to do it somewhere like, well, I got black, I've got it here, so we'll come up here. That's white fabric, so I want to do it somewhere where it's going to contrast. I've taken up just about, okay, let's do it right here. No, I want to do it on kind of a larger area. I've kind of taken up all, okay, let's do it right here. We'll do it on the seam right here. So again, the instructions say to keep this one lined up, the far right dot. And I'll just show you right quick how I'm able to tell that. I'm just going to take the phone out of the, so on my screen right here, it tells me by that little black dot. I don't want to touch the screen or it'll change it, but that little black dot is lined up with the first red dot there on the right. So that just tells me make sure to keep that line on my seam. So we'll get the camera back in here so we can watch the machine stitch. And are we good? There, now I think you can see it pretty well. It wants, this stand wants to twist. There. Maybe I can zoom in. There we go. Okay. So I need to line my seam up with that right one, which feels a little awkward, but the machine knows what it's doing. So as you can see, I've got my seam lined up with that far right one. So I'm just going to start stitching now. And I always, I gotta remember not the center one, but the side one. Oh, I see this kind of, this is stitch, it kind of like does a blanket stitch on the side. So that's why it's kind of going over off the edge. I keep wanting to line it up with the center stitch, but I always go really slow at first, so I can get a feel of the stitch before I speed it up a little bit. If it's a really intricate stitch, then I don't go fast at all. So we'll go ahead and do this one, and I will show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, I'm coming up to the end of my seam, and maybe one of your questions would be, how do I know how to end my stitch? I don't. So when I see it coming up to the end of my seam, I try to imagine where the next stitch will go, and just try to end it off as best as I can. It's going to, I mean, I'm just, if you can see the stitch right here where I kind of went over the other stitch. So I think that's something that will come with experience. When I do it more, I'll learn how to end it off better. But yeah, I try to do the best I can, and that's how. That's it. So I'm thinking I'm probably gonna stop it right there. I might try a back stitch. I think that would be pretty good. And oh, I love that. I can already see it. Oh, it's so pretty. This is another stitch that I found that I thought looked a lot like Crazy Stitching, or Crazy Quilt Stitching, the design that we would use. But isn't that gorgeous? Oh, it just happened that it went over those flowers, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with that. That's really pretty. I love that, and I love the way the black stands out on that. I kind of wish I hadn't put the red in, the red thread. Maybe I should have used like a yellow instead, but it's okay. This is the first time I've ever used my sewing machine to stitch on the seams, so I wanted to, you know, I've had this machine for a long time, so I was like, you know what, let's go with it. Let's see what we can do with it. So I'm glad I did, because this is a lot of fun. So there's an area right here that I want to use the black thread with, and I have to keep remembering it's really important that I have to trim my bobbin thread after each time, because from experience I know that those threads will get caught when I start sewing near where that thread is at. So I'm going to make sure I keep those threads trimmed when I'm doing this. But there's this little area right here in the corner. Where'd it go? Oh, I gotta turn around. This little area right here, I just want to kind of do something with the black thread there. I feel like that would be a good place to use that color. And let's see if I can find this stitch right quick. That's kind of a cute one, but I can't tell where, oh, S. I can't tell where I'm supposed to keep the, so this is my B foot. It's telling me I need to use my S foot, and this is the S foot. It just snaps in there like that. It looks like it's at the center. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough room on here to do this one. This one's really cute. It's like another zigzag kind of flower stitch. So I'm gonna go ahead. My machine gives me the option to, this is kind of like a back tack. It's called the fix stitch, and it just grounds my thread. So I'm gonna go real slow on this one, because I don't know where it's going to lead. Okay, I'm not sure what I did wrong, but it went off line there a little bit. But it's still pretty, and at least I still went across the line all the way through. Some of my flowers aren't quite uniform, but that has got to be one of my favorite stitches so far. Unfortunately, I didn't keep it lined up right, so that's going to take some practice. But isn't that pretty, you guys? It's so pretty. So, alrighty. I think I don't have many more seams left. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more seams, and I'm going to do those right quick, and then we'll go over the stitches that I've done here. All right, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so here I am back, and I finished stitching all of the seams. Hopefully I didn't forget any. It looks like I've got them all. And I have to say, I'm glad I went ahead and pushed forward with this idea, because I found some stitches on my machine that I think I would love to use when I'm making, when I'm doing work like this. Some of them didn't show up as well as others, like this one. But this one really shows up well. I used a yellow thread, so the stitches I made after showing you some of the stitches was the color yellow. So all the stitches you see in yellow, like this one, this is a really tiny one. Was really, it's on the gray there. This one here, it turned out to be, I got my light too close to it, hold on. It turned out to be, I don't know if it's gonna focus, pretty tiny. It's supposed to be like little diamonds. So what I learned from this is that you can use your machine to make some stitches on your Crazy Quilt stitching. Stitches that you may not even realize that will look good. I love this stitch here, the black one. I love that stitch. I love the stitch that the red one made. I just not real crazy about the red thread. I kind of wish I hadn't used it, but I love that stitch. And then what's another one that I liked a lot? Oh, this one is one that I did after I was videoing. It looks like little chicken feet. It's kind of cute. So, I mean, you can do these stitches on a machine and be successful at it. There's a few that I wouldn't try again, like this one here. And where is the one? This one. This, although it's a beautiful stitch, it definitely is going to take me some practice, because as you can see, I started out really good here, and then somehow or another, I don't know what happened. I felt like I was keeping the seam straight, but I love that stitch, but it's definitely one that it needs practice if I do it on my machine. But the whole idea here is what the most important thing that I got from doing this experiment, is what I'm calling it, is these stitches that my machine made. I could easily adapt those into hand stitches. Like this one flower. It's kind of hard to see because I did it in green. And there's a lot of that color in the fabrics. But these are stitches that we could easily do by hand. And just emulate them through hand embroidery. So there's that. My mom had bought a machine. I know a lot of times I can't speak for everyone else. I know for me, I've had my Viking for 10, maybe about 7+ years, and I've never even thought of using the decorative stitches, and there's quite a few stitches that this machine makes. My daughter has a machine. So I think just about every sewing machine, even the basic ones, has some type of decorative stitch. And like my mom's machine, she purchased this machine, and she passed at the beginning of the year. She was 96, but she had purchased this machine about 4 months prior to her passing, and she never even used it. But even and it wasn't a very expensive machine, but she got it at Joann's, but even it has some really pretty pretty decorative stitches on there. So I imagine just about any machine will come with some type of decorative stitch. Blanket stitch, which a blanket stitch looks kind of like this one. Where is that one that reminded me of a blanket stitch? It's in here somewhere. I don't see it now. This one's kind of like a blanket stitch, this one here. Oh, I was trying to see where it was. I showed it when I was stitching with you guys. But those stitches really turn out pretty. You know, you can use them in crazy quilting, and it kind of speeds up the process. Now I can go back in now, and I can stitch over those that I don't like so well, you know, and do some different stitches on there. This took me about 30 minutes, and I did all my stitches. I got all my stitches done. So I'm glad I did the experiment. It never hurts, right? To try different things and see what you discover and what you learn. And oh, look at this stitch. Isn't that pretty? I would love to emulate that in hand embroidery. So, but I hope that I hope maybe this inspires you to get out that machine and take a look at what stitches that your machine makes and use them, try them, see what they do for you, because these stitches would be pretty on pillowcases or just around the collar. You know, you can take a blouse that you like a lot and put some decorative stitches on there. But anyway, I hope you feel inspired from the video, or that you enjoyed it anyway. It was fun for me. Yeah, so I guess that's all that I'm gonna do in this video. But thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you.